suffer from medical conditions related to their mental status, and they have an inclination towards spiritual paths. They find themselves more attracted to spirituality, and they have to be more cautious when entering into spiritual practices. And somebody already having issues with their ability to mentally discern between right and wrong and illusion and delusion, if you add on to that to sit and meditate and take yourself into a world of imagination, then you can see how difficult that would be for somebody and how filled that would be with obstacles. That's why the teaching tries its best, one, to establish when you know that you have a sickness and you know that you have something of an imbalance, you have to be humble enough to seek medical attention right away. We said even the shaykhs suffer from physical sicknesses. So when they're physically sick they have to take medicine, they have to seek medical help. It's a given that in this three prong is the mind, body and soul. These are three foundations that hold up this way. If any time the mind is off and is not functioning correct, spirituality doesn't fix it, you actually will become worse because you become delusional and illusional. Everything is an illusion for a person whom their neurons and their mind is not operating correct. Like a TV that is not plugged in and any type of signal is now entering into that. So the person has to be humble enough to understand that no, they need medicine. They have to take themselves to a state in which they're solid, that they have the medicine, they feel the condition of the medicine, then they begin spiritual practices. Otherwise it imposes a great oppression upon the spiritual path. Same for the one whom suffers from body. Means that if the body is not cured and somebody trying to meditate in a state of sickness and in severe health issues and they don't want to take medicine and they think that they're going to sit there and meditate and suffer through pain and all sorts of difficulties, again that becomes an oppression in which the physical lack of health, it will affect the meditation, it will stop the meditations, it will stop the spiritual progress and also affect then the mental condition. So it means that it's such a balanced way and such a scientific way. Unfortunately the students don't follow that prescription. Again it's like going to a doctor's office and you have a series of medicines and you don't take them correctly. You just sort of randomly take what you want, leave what you want, take what you want, and before you know it you're sort of self-medicating and running your own program. And that's the danger. And in such a dangerous environment as we're living now, because the shayateen are everywhere. You just turn the news and you can see the order of chaos that's on television is a sign, because Allah says, we show you the sign upon the horizon and then within yourself. Anyone who doesn't have any understanding of energies and negative energies, turn the news on. And there's not a place on earth that has a sense of peace and that's not chaotic, and that for you is an understanding of devils and negativity. With that negativity everywhere, then the spiritual path becomes that much more difficult and requires that much more discipline. If they don't apply that discipline, well the one who doesn't take their medicine, if they don't take their mental medicines and medicine for their mental well-being, you can imagine how difficult their path and how incorrect their path will be. Same for the one whom physically doesn't take for their physical ailments and under negative attacks and trying to sit and spiritually heal themselves by becoming even sicker. And that therefore puts an oppression upon themselves and everybody whom is relying upon that person. Means that it's such a delicate process in such a difficult and evil environment as this dunya is in this condition right now. A reminder for myself always in the states of meditation and muraqabah. The meditation and muraqabah is for a state of spiritual excellence, that when you train to connect your heart with the shaykh and try to connect, make the connection with the world of light. And for the men they visualize their shaykh, for the women they visualize Hajjah Amina, Mawlana Shaykh's wife, and the women look at her picture, connect their heart. This practice of meditation and tafakkur is only to be used for spiritual. It's never supposed to be used for your dunya. The obvious is that the dunya is filled with your desire, your nafs. You can't delineate what is the shaykh's guidance and what is your desire being imposed upon that. So then everybody's delusional about, oh they want this, they should get this, they should take this job, they should marry this person. All delusions because they're using a spiritual connection for their dunya desires. How is that going to be spiritual? It's not meant for that, that's not the connection. So we don't ever get emails tell you how you know shaitan is playing with people. We never get delusional emails in which somebody is saying, Shaykh I'm connecting and I've been ordered to pray so much, it's just so difficult upon me. And I've been ordered in my spirituality to make 20,000 salawats and it's just so time consuming. Shaykh I've been ordered to keep my breathing and do my muraqabah, all of think of everything related to ibadah. Nobody ever emails that their mental state pushed them into such a ibadah that's, oh I can't pray this often, I can't meditate like that, I can't be of service like that. It's never that. So means that you know how shaitan enters now into the mental difficulty of a person, because then all the emails come under this example. Shaykh I feel like I want this person, I want to communicate with this person, I want to marry this person, I want to buy this car, I want to do this job, I want all their dunya desires. They're thinking that's their meditation and the shaykh is inspiring to do this and to do that, or they saw from this holy person or that holy person that they should want something nafsani that is to the benefit of their desire and their nafs. And that's completely incorrect because that's not the way that tool should have been used. We have an email even if somebody saying, I want to meditate so I can learn how to bet horses and get lottery tickets. It's as crazy. And that's when we understand that you mentally you must not be well, that you think you're going to use such a heavenly channel that for such a low sort of request, and that these heavenly souls would sit in front of you and inspire you to your dunya, who to marry, who you want, what your car, what your house, what all your dunya desires that already are within you. And you think they're being answered by meditation, but Allah has a holy verse in which He says, have you seen those who make their desires their Allah, their Lord, and they follow them and they go astray. Because the desire of oneself is so strong and they either ignore it or hide it, and the desire appears in front of them like an idol and begin now to inspire them, you go get it, yes that's for you, and you go do this and you go do that. And that's the way of all corruption. Every corrupt one started with this understanding, is they follow their desire and then it just keeps going. Yeah, you go do this, you go harm them, you go do this, and it doesn't end because shaitan starts to enter, will begin to sit there. Once he understood that he's deceiving the person and they're allowing it to be a deception, well it doesn't end. That you go do this and they start to do every wrong. They begin to pass every forbidden line, contacting the shaykh's relatives, then trying to issue harm against them. And we've seen it all, 30 years we're guiding people and in this path of guidance. It doesn't stop. First it's inappropriate thoughts, then they begin to act on these inappropriate thoughts, then they become angered that their thoughts were inappropriate, and then they begin to, I'm inspired now to inflict harm. And that's when immediately then the police get involved and they go after these people, and the shaykhs don't play with that type of disobedience and delusional thinking process. But for tonight it's very important to understand that this path is not based on that. It's not about meditating to see what you're going to acquire and what you want for your nafs. It's only for ibadah that I connect my heart with the shaykh. I'm asking to see myself in an ocean of power and do my zikr, I do my awrad, and that I'm inspired to now go and pray. I'm inspired to do more zikr, I'm inspired now to read Qur'an. I've never gotten an email from a delusional person that said, I'm being pushed so much to read Qur'an I can't take it anymore. Nobody's ever emailed that I have to pray so much, it is very heavy. But it's always delusional towards the nafs. You know, they say, who would benefit from that delusion you have? Was clearly yourself. So when your nafs can benefit from your delusions, well, shaitan is playing with you. But if your nafs is going to be burned by your delusions, where it requires long praying, oh I've been inspired to fast every Monday, Thursday, when nobody's written that. That in my delusional state I'm now, oh I've been ordered to fast every Thursday, Friday, they won't email it because they have to be held to it. That is a struggle, that is an inspiration that would come from a shaykh, that you need to fast, you're doing something wrong. Means that this process is not something you sort of make up on your own. And the signs of this is that the person isolates because they don't want the guidance of the shaykh. They don't even want to email that, I'm now getting this trickling of whisperings, so that the shaykh can immediately cut it off and say, you're delusional man, go back to your spiritual practices, focus on your zikr and your awrad. They don't want to hear the correct, they actually want to stay in a delusional world and go deeper and deeper into their delusion. What the shaykhs and huge awliya describe the abode of khayral. What's imagination in Arabic? Khayral? I can't hear, you can't whisper, you have to say it.
Khayal.
Khayal?
Yeah.
To be delusional in your imagination. That's a dangerous abode in spirituality, is when you enter into a delusional world where you're